Welcome back, everyone, to a special edition of Week 12 of the Wild West.
Let's go.
So this is a Wild West / Sportsfellas, so we're not getting confused here.
This is Don in the house.
And it's boy Driston.
And it's Edward.
This is Chuck.
See, everybody's nervous here. They're all excited. And this is your host, Carlos. You guys, we're going to talk about the college game day of the week. Also, our Week 12 picks in our segment here of Eddie Money's Sports Thoughts. And the new, always the new and improved, but it's one of our favorite shows, Mano a Mano. Let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
Since 1990, Wichita's own Superstar Sports has everything for the fans' needs, whereas for NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, or either college. So please check them out at either the Town West Mall in Wichita, Kansas, or the Town East Mall, Wichita, Kansas, whereas Superstar Sports, where every fan is welcome.
So we have our game of the college game day of the week, and we have Michigan Wolverines, Chuck's team, going against Chris's team, the Ohio State Buckeyes. I'm going to leave the floor to you, Chuck. Who are you taking and why?
Well, I mean, it's in Columbus, so they're already going to be favored. The way Michigan played this weekend, you can either bounce back with a vengeance and really show out, or you can have that lack of momentum go towards the next week and see how it affects you in your ball club like that. But then again, this is one of the most, I would say, biggest rivalries in college football. It hasn't been much for a couple years past. Last year was really good. This year is going to be even better. But I do think that Ohio State now has problems with their run game and their depth at wide receiver, because Marvin Harrison Jr. is the only one they got that's kind of standing out. And if Michigan can control the run game, which they've been doing a really good job at this year, they had a scare today with Blake Corum, but he still seems to be okay. It's in Columbus, so if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on Ohio State. But I do think that Michigan stands a better chance to win, go to the Big Ten title game, and then do something in the playoff. Because if you win the Big Ten title game and you go to the playoff and get spanked, what does it really matter? Last year, Michigan won out. They beat the brakes off Iowa in the Big Ten title game, and they actually won the first round of the playoffs to go to the national championship. So for the Big Ten's sake, and I think, kind of keeping the competition like that and away from the SEC talk, I think the Big Ten, I think Michigan has a better chance to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Ohio State as well. I mean, Michigan did kind of struggle today against, Illinois, barely beating them. Mm-hmm. And right now, currently watching the Ohio State-Maryland score. Thought it was going to be a close game, but Ohio State just now scored a touchdown, so the final score was 42-30. So, but I mean, yeah, with the quarterback C.J. Stroud, I mean, he has something to prove this season. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to go with the Buckeyes. I mean, they've been playing roughly great football all season. I mean, they've had their moments, just like any other team has. But I think Ohio State will end up taking this.
Yeah, just Ohio State seems to be the stronger team right now. Haven't been following much of the college sports except KU football, but we just got spanked today, but it happens. But, right now Ohio State seems to be the slight favorite. Just being in their home field. So.
I think my mind's telling me to pick Ohio State. Y'all have many valid points, but I want to pick Michigan on this one. I want to see them come out with a win. That's really it. But I think it's going to be a close game, so hopefully Michigan can pull this one out.
Chris, you're my boy, Chris. I know you're Buckeye believing guy. I know this. But here's the deal. I'm going to rock the maize yellow.
Yeah.
Yes. Baby. Call me the mellow yellow. And I'll tell you why. I mean, Harbaugh, if there's one team, you just got to beat Ohio State. And I feel this year Michigan is playing differently. I mean, Penn State's not causing no issues. Iowa sucks. Wisconsin sucks. Nebraska. Who's Nebraska? I don't know. So it's just so much going on. So now this is it. The center stage is now the team in front of you in Ohio State. You got to win. Win or go home. And I agree with Chuck. I mean, what's the point if you go in and you win, you got to keep building on it. You can't just beat Ohio State and then you go to the big dance and then you don't make it happen. So my heart goes out to Michigan. So I'm just going to go Michigan. I'm just going to take Michigan. So, Chuck, I'm with you. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
Razor Cut Information would like to thank you, Ernie Relas, at State Farm, located at 11330 East Central, Wichita, Kansas. Please visit Ernie to talk about your home, auto, life insurance needs. As they say, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Thank you, Ernie.
Don, I'm going to start this off with you. We have Buffalo against the Detroit Lions. Who you taking and why?
I'm gonna have to say Buffalo because Detroit is losing that weapon in Hawkinson. All he has is Amon-Ra to throw to, and even though he's got two premier running backs, I just don't think they can keep up with the pace of Buffalo.
Yeah, it's definitely Buffalo, man. Even if Detroit can do anything offensively, they don't got a defense that can stop Buffalo, so it's Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm going to take Buffalo. I think they've had a little bit of struggles going into it, so they kind of need to resurface and get themselves back on track.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all you guys. I'll be taking Buffalo as well. I mean, their offensive, firepower, it's going to be just too much for, Detroit. I mean, even though, they have Aiden Hutchinson, but, I mean, even then, Buffalo won't be able to struggle to win that game.
I'm going to take Buffalo as well. I mean, Buffalo right now has to capitalize on win because right now with the loss that they had against Minnesota, you just gave Kansas City the first seed right now, and they don't want to go back to Arrowhead. And I've made that mention before. They don't want to go back to Arrowhead. They want to be able to host a game in Buffalo. So, but not right now in the snow. It's pretty bad out there. Let's go ahead and move on over. We have the New York Giants, the G-Men, going against Dallas Cowboys on the Thanksgiving game. Let's go ahead and start off with the Cowboys fan here. Ed, who are you taking?
I'm gonna go for Dallas, even though they had a disappointing loss last weekend against Green Bay, being up 14 late in the third quarter, and just blowing that. So hopefully they can come back and get this win and just get back on track. With the Eagles losing their first game last week, hopefully they can the Eagles can sneak up another loss, and if the Cowboys are able to get their business done week to week leading up to the Eagles game, and we could potentially still have a possibility of winning this division.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys. They're hosting it, and I do think the Giants are playing really good football right now. They just seem to be, Saquon's healthy, and they're doing really good things there. I don't know why they got rid of Kadarius Toney like that. I don't see that angle, but that's why I don't run an NFL team either. So I do think the Cowboys will win just because they're going to rebound from that Packers loss. That was borderline devastating, like how that happened and went down. So they're going to have to resurge and pull this win out against a really solid Giants team, and it's probably just going to be another way of balancing the NFC in that division being the strongest one in that conference. So it's going to be a good game, though.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dallas on this one. I think they both got great defenses, but I'll give the edge to Dallas. Overall, they got more stars all over the field. And same offensively, they got more firepower on all the positions. So I like Dallas better as a team, but the Giants, man, I'm not going to count them out this one. I think it's going to be close.
Hey, I'm going to go for the upset with the Giants.
Oh.
Give them two straight. Hey, because they got Saquon's running great, and Dallas has struggled stopping the run because against Green Bay, I mean, it was all over the place. So, and I think Daniel Jones got it in him, to keep control of the ball. And Dallas just, not because I'm a Dallas hater, it's just that the Giants,
you are.
Hater. But I think the Giants, got enough what it takes to pull the upset.
Looking at both teams here, I mean, especially being Thanksgiving game, and then Dallas is going to get ready to wear their throwback uniforms. There's just a lot of momentum and hype going in. And right now, Dallas with what's their third string running back? Not Pollard, the next guy up. He had a great game in Green Bay. oh, is it Davis? I can't remember. I think it's Davis, if I'm not mistaken. But they can introduce him in a couple more packages as well, and kind of help a little bit with Dak. Because I mean, the thing is with Dak, for some reason, there's games where he shines, and then there's other games it's kind of like we miss Cooper Rush.
Oh, yeah,
we miss Cooper Rush.
Malik Davis.
So Malik Davis. So I think is being at home. I'm going to take Dallas in this game, but they need this. They need this game because right now they can take advantage of Philly taking that loss against the Commanders. So now what they can do is like, hey, capitalize on the wins to be able to secure the division and then try to get a great win so they don't go to such a low seed, because you don't want to be a 3-4 playing a wild card, because you saw last year you losing to San Francisco.
And
so
we might lose to them again.
That's your fault. All right, so next up we've got the Minnesota Vikings going against the New England Patriots on the late Thanksgiving game. Tristan, who are you taking?
I'm going to go with Minnesota. They've been playing pretty hot this year. I mean, they've had some really close games. But, man, that offense is crazy, man. Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook are really getting it going for them offensively. And despite New England's good defense, I think they'll be able to overcome that and beat them.
Yeah, I agree. The Vikings, with that win last week, they kind of made the statement of, our schedule seems weak, but we aren't. So I think they're going to make another statement here and take a Thanksgiving victory.
Yeah, I agree. Vikings, they're playing great football right now. Kirk Cousins, he's been playing a little better, and then Justin Jefferson, I mean, he's doing his thing. So, yeah, I mean, I'll take Minnesota.
I'm going to have to go with Minnesota because regardless of how great, New England's defense is in the league, I don't think they have enough to stop the firepower of Minnesota. And Minnesota's got a good defense too, so it's just a matter of if Mac Jones can get around that defense and, and move the ball against them. Otherwise, Minnesota's just up and down the field all day.
This is a kind of a scary game because, Kirk Cousins sucks prime time, and it's prime time. It's a Thanksgiving game. So, Kirk, here's my deal. It's just another game. You're at home. You're undefeated at home right now. So don't think, oh, the lights are on me. What do I do? Get nervous. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Here's the thing. Dalvin Cook finally has resurged back into an elite running back like he should have been. And also adding that addition to Hawkinson as well has helped Kirk Cousins distribute the ball. I've said before in previous shows to start utilizing a little bit more receiver, because right now Justin J. Jettis is going to be locked down. Someone's going to try to double team or try to even triple team him. So why alleviate that and just go ahead and start using Thielen? Thielen has done little here, little there, but I just wish maybe to get used a little bit more, use him as the slot, get him more involved in short down situations, and then just let Dalvin run. So I'm going to go ahead and take Minnesota on this game. Next up, we have Chuck's team, the Houston Texans. How they doing, by the way, against the Miami Dolphins. Who are you taking, Don?
Is that even a question? Miami.
All right.
Nothing else to explain.
Yeah, I'm going with the Fins.
I mean, you got Mostert, Tyreek, Tua. I mean, that Dolphins team is loaded. Texans, I mean, they're part of one of the rebuilding squads in the league. So, yeah, Miami.
Yeah, this would be Miami's next stepping stone on their way to a pretty good playoff push, I think. If Tua can just come out of the game healthy, then it'll be more than just a win for him.
I'm going to take Flipper. Take the Dolphins. Look at Ed. He's lost. He looks all lost. Man, poor Ed. Ed, deer the headlights here. That was priceless. Yeah, I'm just going to take the Dolphins as well. They're on the right path. And then, especially with Tua coming back, the team looks different. And also, they're fun to watch. I mean, especially, then Tyreek, and the run game is great. So, yeah, I'm just going to take Miami. Let's go ahead and move on over. My team, the Denver Broncos, going against the Carolina Panthers. Tristan, who you taking?
Do you want to know?
No, I'm just,
All right. This is a tough one. I feel like it's pretty bad. Two pretty bad teams.
Yes.
Can't really get things going. But I'm going to pick Carolina on this one. I just can't trust Denver. I can't. Not Russ back there. I feel like they haven't given me a reason to. So I'm picking Carolina, man.
Yeah, I agree. Can't trust Russ, and I can't trust the defense. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Carolina with, I guess we can call it an upset, but not really an upset because, both teams are pretty bad right now. So, yeah, I'll take Carolina.
I mean, where's the game at?
It's
Take
in
Carolina.
Carolina.
Well, I guess I have to give it to Carolina because, like I agree with everybody else. Just both teams are just playing horrible. Just
Especially the Broncos.
Just like my Raiders. So it's like,
Yes.
what can you do?
I would give it to the Panthers, but Baker Mayfield is starting.
Oh.
So I'm going to go ahead and shift that back to the Broncos. And I mean, if honestly, if any game I would predict this year or this week to go to a tie, just let them tie because that's what both teams deserve at this point, I think.
I'm going to take Carolina. I just feel that Carolina, with Baker coming back, he's got to prove it. He's got to prove that, P.J. Walker is just secondary, and he's got this chip on his shoulder that he is still considered a top quarterback. I'm not throwing him up top, but I'm talking at least a starter. So I'll take Carolina. Next up, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Cleveland Browns. Tristan, who you taking?
This is a little tough one. I think I'm going to take Tampa Bay just because what we saw last week, that defense, they really stepped up. They shut down a really good Seattle offense. And Rashad White in the backfield taking over. He looked really good. So I think they're going to have that double head backfield dual threat going in. And I like them going in this matchup. Cleveland's been pretty disappointing, so I'm going with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I agree with Tristan. I'll take Tampa Bay. I mean, usually middle of the season, that's when they turn it around. I mean, I don't know why they wait so long to turn it around, but I think this is a start to something special that could possibly come out.
What week does Deshaun come back? This week or
December 4th.
Yep.
Okay. As much as I was trying to give Cleveland a chance, I'd have to go with Tampa Bay because I don't think they can just, Jacoby Brissett, he moves the ball pretty well, but not against that Tampa Bay defense. So I'd have to go with Tampa and Tom Brady.
Looking back at the Browns' schedule, they have a tremendously amount of one-possession games. So if Tampa Bay doesn't get ahead by 2 scores, I feel like Cleveland will somehow stay close and then kick a last-second field goal. But if Tom Brady lets that happen, then his season is almost all but over because I don't know if you can recover this late in the season, go under 500, and still, 1, make the playoffs, 2, have any motivation or gunk going into it. So I think it's a big game for him to do that and keep his team in that locker room joined together. But Browns fans are always okay with losing. But if you can beat Tom Brady with the last-second field goal, it doesn't matter how many games you win. That was a good one for you. So yeah. I do think that Tampa will win, but I don't be surprised if the Browns make it a very close game, to say the least.
I mean, you have a great point, Chuck. I mean, Tom Brady is on a winning streak right now, especially going to Germany and beating Seattle. Mm-hmm. That's great confidence going in. And here's the thing, Cleveland, they're a run-based team, and I don't see Brissett really doing much. So they're going to try to do as Todd Bowles is going to try to limit that. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to give it to Tampa Bay because right now they cannot afford losses because Atlanta is like right breathing down their neck right now. And all they need to do is get some wins in and cause a disruption in the NFC South because you don't got to worry about Carolina. You don't really got to worry about New Orleans. It's just Atlanta, just like right there. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay on this one. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yours and who you taking?
I'm taking Baltimore. Now, the Jags, they've been playing better than what I expected them to play this season. But, again, they're still in sort of, I feel like, a rebuilding mode and they have a lot of young players still getting used to the NFL. But, man, Baltimore is looking good. Lamar Jackson's looking good. Give me Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, give me Baltimore as well. They are the better team out of the two. And I mean, Baltimore is also, one of the couple teams that are chasing, to make a statement in the playoffs. So, yeah, I'll take the Ravens.
Go ahead and take the Ravens because of Lamar Jackson. I don't think the Jacksonville defense has enough to keep him contained. So if you take him off running, if he takes off running, he's getting chunks of yards. So if you try to contain him from running, he's going to pass it deep for everybody else.
Yeah, it's going to be Baltimore. I just really hope they can kind of stay healthy. Like, you don't get healthier going along the season, and playing football doesn't make you a stronger, more physically fit athlete. But their injuries are hurting them really bad right now. Like, if any of these continue to go into the playoffs, then their season was almost all for naught, because they're one of those teams that are a playoff caliber, playoff bound team every year going into it with that roster, and they just haven't been able to do it. So you got to keep the injuries at bay and, spread the ball around, own the time of possession, and they'll win. But I just really think they need to focus on staying healthy right now.
There's no punchline to that. You're right, Chuck. I mean, Baltimore has to stay healthy. I mean, we almost lost the mascot this year with his injury. And then, Dobbins got injured. And then but we have seen some players step up.
Absolutely.
And the thing is with Mark Andrews kind of going, we were thinking for a second, they might struggle. No, I mean, Lamar Jackson uses ingenuity and being able to distribute the ball. But you're right. If they're going to start competing against Kansas City or Buffalo, they cannot afford to be injured, because they're going to take advantage of that. So, all right. Moving on over, we have the Chicago Bears against the Jets.
Jets.
All right. See, if this was a contest, Tristan would win. He was all excited. You saw that? Yeah, this guy. All right. So, be my guest, Tristan. Who are you taking?
I'm going to take Jets on this one. I really like them this season. They've looked good, especially defensively. Now, Chicago, they have been stepping it up. Justin Fields has been finding himself as a quarterback, I guess. So, despite that, I think it's going to be a closer game. But, man, it's just Chicago's defense isn't that good. And, I feel like the Jets are going to take advantage of that. And Jets have better defense, much better.
I mean, the Jets, I'll take the Jets, but, the Jets, they can be that sleeper team winning, the AFC East?
Which is crazy. That is a tough division.
Having the Bills and the Patriots and the Dolphins. So, I'll take the Jets. I'll take the Jets on this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jets because I don't think Justin Fields can muster up enough offense to get around that Jets defense. And the Jets just got just enough weapons, just to move that Chicago defense all over the field.
I'm actually going to go with the Bears this time, and that's basically taking their momentum, going with it. The Jets are playing good, but they don't have momentum going for them. Justin Fields has got that fan base going. They got him rallying behind the team. I think that locker room's coming together behind him as a leader. They could use more weapons, especially when they lost Roquan. I don't know how that makes sense either for your defense, but I just think that NFL has been one of the most unpredictable sports throughout this season. You pick a winner and it ain't them. So I think the Bears are gonna take the win and be one of the upsets of the week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Bears as well. I just think Justin Fields is finally coming to be, and the thing is with the tight end right now, they're having great rapport. Now there is reports that he's questionable, so we'll see how that goes. And of course with Sauce Gardner, I think he'll lock up Mooney. I think that's what he'll do, and I mean, he's one of the best defensive players right now in the game.
He's been killing it.
All right, next up we have the Cincinnati Bengals going against the Tennessee Titans. This is a rematch of the divisional round last year. Who are you taking, Tristan?
Give me Cincy, man. Now, I will say Tennessee, they looked good passing the ball last week. I think Grant Tannehill put up 300-plus passing yards. So that's something they haven't been doing all year, and they finally got it together last week against Green Bay. But I'm still going with Cincy. I think they got a much better offense all over the field, and then they got a pretty good defense. So even if Henry does have a good game, they'll be able to keep up.
I don't think Tennessee's the better team. Cincinnati is the better team, but Jamar Chase is out. Yeah. So I don't know that they can keep offensively, really throwing big plays or getting a lot of those first downs they need. And I think when Derrick Henry is running like he is, and he's having these types of games week in and week out, getting better and better and better, I don't think that's going to stop this week. I don't think Cincinnati has that defense to do that. So I just think that Tennessee's going to ride that run game, and Jamar Chase is going to be a very big X factor missing out of that offense.
I'm about to agree with Chuck with Tennessee because once they get that run game going, minus on the other side of the ball, you got Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. I don't know if they can, keep it going, help, the Bengals, get a win in. Even though Mixon's a good running back, but I don't know if they can get around that tough Tennessee front. So I'm about to go with Tennessee on that one.
Yeah, I think T. Higgins, with Jamar Chase being out, he's definitely going to, step it up a notch. He could possibly be, a first wide receiver on multiple teams around the league. So, but yes, I mean, Derrick Henry has been playing lights out, the last 2-3 games, especially that one time where the backup quarterback, took over, Tannehill for that 1 week. He had a very strong game. And, well, I mean, I feel like it's going to come down to the quarterbacks, and I think Joe Burrow is a more consistent quarterback. Tannehill, I mean, 1 week he can give you 330, but another week he'll give you like 270, but with 2 picks. So
this is a pretty interesting game. I mean, Cincinnati without Chase. I mean, but also don't take into consideration the guy Hayden Hurst. I mean, they could throw into him. He's a good tight end as well. But the thing is, Mixon, he had a lights out game that last week. It was just ridiculous the way they torched the Panthers. But that's a different team. Looking at both of the squads here, Tennessee's resurging, especially with, you can tell Ryan Tannehill, when he's playing, they play much different. I think the tempo goes into Tennessee's favor. But again, Cincinnati, this is the time where they do peak, and right now they are competing for the AFC North Division. So I'm going to go ahead and take Cincinnati. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons against the Washington Commanders. Chuck, who are you taking?
I'm going to go ahead and take the home team. They've got some momentum going in that locker room too. And I don't buy into the Falcons at all. I think their number one offensive player has nothing going for what he was supposed to be doing in Kyle Pitts. Cordarrelle's, he's still hurt, right? So I don't know if I definitely don't get behind Mariota at all. But I just think Washington has a lot more, I think that locker room's just a happier locker room right now. So I'm going to take Washington, and they only have a 3-point spread and they're at home, so that doesn't say much. So they're definitely on upset alert, but I think they'll pull it out.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Taylor Heineke. I mean, these last 2-3 games, especially big wins against the Packers, and then another big win against an undefeated, great squad as a whole, both offensive and defensive, with the Eagles, being able to beat them at home. So, yeah, I mean, right now Heineke he's on fire right now. So, and I mean, the Falcons, it's just another mediocre team, joining the Panthers, in that division. So, yeah, I'm going to have to roll with Taylor Heineke.
I agree with both you guys. I'm going with Washington. I feel like they've played a lot better football than I've been giving them credit for. That defense has really stepped up, and like when they played the Eagles, they held A.J. Brown down, and that's really what did it in for the Eagles, man. And
they shut him down.
Yeah, so they've been looking good defensively, and Atlanta hasn't been looking good offensively with Mariota in the backfield, man. He's very unpredictable, and I feel like he sucks at distributing the ball. So give me Washington on this one.
I also have to go with Washington because I just don't trust the consistency of the Falcons and moving the ball down the field. And with who's that D lineman that came back for Washington? Chase Young. So he's going to be the addition back to their defense to help, anchor it down. Just completely shut down Atlanta.
I created this upstart. I'm gonna call it out right now. And let's get it on the archive. Look in the archive. Did I not say Washington was going to come back? So.
I told you so.
I'm Frankenstein. You know what I'm saying? I told them they'd come back, and they did.
I know Kyle did. I don't know if you did.
Hey, Tristan, you see that door over there? Go ahead and unplug yourself. Get out of here like the Matrix. Anyway, so I will take Washington. I mean, that's just hands down. They're a fun team to watch right now. Heineke's that bravado he has right now. It's just electrifying. He's fun to watch. And, man, I don't know how he was able to keep his neck up. That was so many chains he was wearing. Man, it's like Tristan Zico, just too much. All right, next up we have the Los Angeles Chargers against the Arizona Cardinals. Chuck, who you taking?
Oh, going into this season, this was a marquee matchup. Both teams were going to have really hot offenses. They were, going to be pushing momentum into the season, carrying on to the end of the year, trying to fight for a playoff seed. And they both have just lacklustered it up. So I want to say D-Hop has a big game again, and they will do what it takes. So I'm going to take the Cardinals.
Yeah, give me the Cardinals on this one, man. I felt like Chargers have been pretty disappointing this season. Like, let me see. So they play us this week, which is going to definitely be a loss. The week before that, they lost to the Niners. The week before that, they barely beat the Falcons. They got lucky with that win. And then they lost to Seattle the week before that. It's just this year, I feel like they've been kind of disappointing, and they've had very close games with teams they shouldn't have had.
So you mean that three-win run against the Texans, Browns, and Broncos didn't do it for you? That wasn't it? No? Okay. I understand. I get it.
Burn.
I gotta go with the Cardinals on this one. I'm going with them. I feel like he said, D-Hop's gonna have a nice game against them.
Yeah, I'm going with the Cardinals because I think with the return of Marquise Brown on the opposite side of the field with D-Hop, how do you stop that? And with the Chargers, their injuries just like Baltimore, just been so banged up. It's hard to win when you ain't got nobody on the field to play.
It's sad. When I'm looking forward to this game, I just want to see what combination the Chargers are going to wear, because they're the team that have the most combinations, and I'm more excited about that than the game itself. I mean, Justin Herbert's a great player to watch. I mean, if they were all healthy, just to see Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and then Austin Eckler going prime mode and going, that'd be fun. But the thing is it's at Arizona, and then they're getting Marquise Brown back. It's just going to be a headache, so I'm going to take Arizona. Let's go ahead and move on over to Don's team. Let's just keep it quiet for a little bit, because I get emotional, like Derek Carr when I'm talking. The Las Vegas Raiders against the Seattle Seahawks. Don, you have the floor. Who are you taking? Don't cry, Don.
Hey,
I got it.
That's why it's hard to say. It's so terrible.
Just let it out,
so
Don.
Terrible.
Just
so terrible.
dive in your feelings right now.
Without Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller, I don't see how we can beat Seattle. It just depends on the run games and both teams. If we can run for at least 200 yards rushing, maybe we can beat them and keep their offense off the field. But just looking at stat-wise, I'd have to say Seattle, unfortunately.
Yeah, any team that has a worse record than the Broncos, I'm going to have to say no to that, man. I'm going with Seattle. They've been playing really good football this season.
He's old school. He's like Hall & Oates. He can't go for that. Just can't do it. Chuck, who you taking?
I'm going to take the Seahawks. They're going to rebound and stay strong. They're going to keep proving that the lack of star power, Metcalf has kind of taken a back seat to all the talk he normally has. He's kind of humbled himself, I think, and I think Geno Smith is finally playing to the talent he's capable of. It's not going to be very hard to beat the Raiders, but every NFL game is tough. I can't imagine going week in, week out against some of the worst teams and still losing. Upsets happen, but going into this season, you wouldn't have thought their records would reflect the way they are. But I do think that the Seahawks are proven the better team, and they'll show it again today. Or that.
Yeah, I think the only good thing the Raiders have going on, well, I guess, for the whole season, they have no chance winning this game. But, at best case scenario, they can still finish the season 9-8, right?
Oh, that's a brainer there. I don't know. Here's the deal. The thing is the injuries and just coming up short has killed them. And then you got to appreciate the ownership in Davis, that they are rallying behind Josh McDaniels. They want to believe in his system. They want to believe that what he's going to bring is going to reflect in time the process. But my friend, I hope you understand that the process, you're letting the Chiefs still run with it. Right now you caught breaks with Denver doing terrible and with the Chargers plagued with injuries. But the thing is if they don't come up with the solution to match the Marquinhos in Kansas City, we're just always going to be second to last. So it's not going to happen in Seattle. So I'm going to take Seattle. Yeah. All right. We got the next game up. We have Drista's team, the Kansas City Chiefs, going against the Super Bowl champions in the lame Los Angeles Rams. Go ahead, Dristan.
I think it's simple. Cooper Kupp's on IR, so he's not going to be there. Yeah. And Matthew Stafford. We haven't seen a full game without Kupp yet. We'll see that this week. So we'll see if he can get the ball to like Allen Robinson and Tyler Higbee. See how that goes. But even with Kupp, that offensive line hasn't been doing Matthew Stafford any good. And they haven't looked good. They have not. They don't look like the Super Bowl team we saw last year. So Kansas City's on a roll. I expect them to keep that up.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Matthew Stafford is, I think, the most, the quarterback with the most sacks currently in the season. So I mean, that just tells you, how poorly their season has been. I mean, as well as Cooper Kupp's injury, and then I mean they just can't find no answer week to week. So yeah, I mean I'm definitely gonna go with the Chiefs on this game.
Yeah, it's the Chiefs. They have one of the largest spreads this week. It's in Kansas City, so there's almost no chance there.
Chiefs. The Rams have dropped down to be about just as bad as my team. So
They're accepting applications, Don. If you want to be a Chiefs fan.
hell no.
All right. Yeah, it's going to be the Chiefs. I mean, you can't. There's just no way. I mean, right now, I'm excited to see Pacheco play. I mean, I think with Allaire not getting his reps in, and McKinnon has been doing more than Allaire, and then you can't count out Travis Kelce. It's just going to be a heyday. I mean, Aaron Darnold's going to try to get to Mahomes. I just don't think he has even the gas to go after him. Mahomes is just going to leave him in the, out there, and it's just that Arrowhead. So, yeah, forget it. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints against the San Francisco 49ers. Chuck, who are you taking?
Man, I think the Niners have turned it around at the right moment. Obviously, adding CMC would do that for probably any team. But Garoppolo is who he is. He's a winning quarterback. He stays semi-consistent, but I just think that run game is going to be it's going to be unstoppable for the foreseeable future, I feel. So I think the Niners are going to take this one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Chuck. I mean, I'm going to take the 49ers this game. I mean, they're another, team that, started off pretty slow, but now, they're, catching back up, up to speed. So, yeah, I mean, they're going to beat the Saints. I mean, the Saints, it's another, so-and-so team, nothing to be afraid of. Debo, will take care of business. George Kittle, Jimmy G will, play, solid, QB. So, and Brandon Ayuk, he's going to do his thing too. So, I'll take the Niners.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk has really stepped up. He's really been looking phenomenal the past couple weeks. And what can I say? They have one of the best defenses, and they got a great offense, especially adding Christian McCaffrey. And Elijah Mitchell's back, and he looked good that game he came back. So I don't see how New Orleans is going to beat San Francisco.
Yep, I'm going to go with San Francisco because the Saints have become the Aints.
That was good.
Because
Tay-Tay, shout out to the Saints fans out there.
Because what happened to that momentum they had when they were talking all that noise, how they were going to beat the Raiders, and then, now they can't win another game since then. So
okay.
they didn't.
Taylor, it's okay, Taylor. Maybe next year.
There's always next year. All right, I'm going to take San Francisco as well. I mean, they're the better team. Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers going against the Indianapolis Colts. Tristan, who you taking?
Let's see. Give me the Colts. Do not like how Pittsburgh's been playing this year. They can't get that quarterback situation situated. And, Deontay Johnson has been quiet. I guess Pickett's had here and there game, but they just don't look good offensively, and that's really why I'm choosing the Colts.
I'm going to go with Pittsburgh for the upset because what have they got to lose? They put in their second string running back. What's his name? I can't say his name right now. He seems to be running the ball very well. And, Indianapolis, they're just the Colts. They just haven't been a great team. So, new coach, it's just up in the air.
Did come and beat you guys, though, with that new coach.
This guy.
Yeah, the course of
I'm about to separate you guys. This is getting hot in here.
Yeah, probably just the Colts. The Steelers will ride their lack of organizational offense. There's no storyline there. I don't even know what they're doing for their playbook. To get them going one way or the other. What kind of changes is Tomlin going to do to get that team on board? I'm not going to say they're going to suck for a draft pick, but they will likely end up with a decent one by the end of the season. And that's another thing, no credit to the Colts, because I never do. But, yeah, I just think that Jonathan Taylor will control the ball really well, and that'll just be that storyline of the game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to hop on the Jeff Saturday bandwagon, 2-0 this week, so there we go.
Yeah, there's no punchline to it. I mean, I think it's going to be the Colts. I mean, right now, Jeff Saturday right now has got them motivated, and Jonathan Taylor is back, and it's just the thing is they're in disarray. I wonder if of Coach Tomlin is showing them videos of their former Super Bowls. And it's like, this is what we did. Can we replicate that? And the answer is no. All right. Let's go ahead and dive into the game of the week, and it's brought to you by She Cuts Barbers. We have the Green Bay Packers going against the Philadelphia Eagles. Don, who you taking?
Eagles. There's no explanation to it.
All right, sounds good.
This is a close one because Green Bay, they've been playing pretty bad. Christian Watson's really stepped up as a rookie, but they just can't get nothing going really offensively at Green Bay. And Philly's still looking good. I feel like they've had a pretty weak schedule, but I mean, they're still a great team, so I don't think they'll be able to shut A.J. Brown did like Washington did.
They can afford the loss, so I don't know that this game is really important for Philly to beat Green Bay. I think it's more important for Green Bay to pull out that win for Aaron Rodgers' sake. So I can see the game going that way because of that factor. But then again, I think Philly's going to start rallying. They're going to start giving that momentum from here on out again, back to what they were before the Washington loss. Because that is a tough division right now. So, any one of those guys could come out of it. But I do think Philly will likely win the game, but I don't think it's as important to them as everyone else might.
You could correct me if I'm wrong. Green Bay has 7 losses, right? So, I'm definitely going to take the Eagles. I mean, their offensive power, defensive power, and they just brought in new Dominic and Sue, and then they brought in Jameson Williams, I think. So, it's just more firepower, and that's, for only losing one game and they're still bringing in firepower, it's serious business with them. And this is more so for Aaron Rodgers than Jalen Hurts, just because, mathematically, in the numbers and everything, if the Packers were to lose this game, their playoff chances, wild card chances, they go from maybe 50%, it'll probably drop down to a 15 to 10%. They'll be at 8 losses, and then with another loss, they'll be, below 500. So, especially with how, the NFC East teams are, playing the Giants, the Commanders, the Giants, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. And then, possibly the Commanders could possibly slip in, that last, wild card spot. So, it's basically a win or go home for Green Bay. So
it was a smart move of Philly picking up Ndamukong Suh because simple fact, he has so much history against Aaron Rodgers. He knows how to scheme up against him. The guys played in Detroit and then in the NFC Championship when he was with the Bucs. So this is a great move what Philly did in picking him up. So I'm going to take Philly. They need it. And so the momentum needs to go on their way, especially with that stunning loss to the Commanders. They just need to restrict, come back to earth a little bit and being able to say, okay, we need to start winning, because right now Minnesota has got the hot hand right now. And if they just keep it up that way, they might have to play the NFC Championship in Minnesota. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
Hey guys, have you ever seen those little towns in Kansas and wondered, what's there? Let me tell you about a hidden gem in Salina, Sky Trampoline. It is the perfect place for both family outings and spending the day with friends. They have large open trampoline jump court, a ninja course, a setup to test or develop your parkour skills, and that's not even close to everything. Additional fun can be had in their foam pit, dodgeball area, a laser maze, and even an arcade. They also have specialty events with black light lit trampolines and a DJ. Sky Trampoline is located at 1820 South 9th Street in Salina, Kansas, and is open every day until at least 9 most days, and sometimes even later.
It's our show, Eddie's Money Sports Thoughts. So, Ed, with Aaron Rodgers' recent loss to the Titans, are the veterans quarterbacks fading away, or perhaps Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, and Ryan Tannehill will see a Super Bowl appearance?
They could potentially be fading away, all 4, but out of the 4, I see Tom Brady reaching a Super Bowl more so than a Russell Wilson. And who are the other quarterbacks? Oh yeah, Rodgers. And it's Tom Brady. He has the history. He's able to show up in big games. So. Yeah, it's hard to say that they're finished, But, with these new upcoming, young quarterback studs, that are coming into the league, year after year, in the end, that time is going to come sooner than later. It could possibly be this year, for Rodgers, and, for possibly Tom Brady if, him and the Bucs, don't turn it around here soon.
I think they're all fading away here in the next couple of years because they've had their time. They're all great, but it's to a point now you can tell in their games that they've been faltering through these weeks. Tom Brady, out of all of them, is the only one that's having a resurgence for this season, but I don't think he makes it to the Super Bowl. So, right now as a whole, they were great, but it's to a point now they just need to let it go and hang it up.
Yeah, they're fading away. They're all old. They need to retire.
That's the youth, you guys.
They haven't
no
been,
respect.
You got too many young quarterbacks dominating the league now, especially in the AFC. So I think if anybody, I agree with you too. It's going to be Tom Brady, and not necessarily even because he's playing good, just because his team's playing good in that aspect. But they're fading away, man.
Yeah, they are. I think Drew Brees was a silent domino in that trickle down going from Peyton Manning to the next one. Drew Brees did it. He was out. If Tom Brady didn't have such a great defense and team, they obviously probably wouldn't have won. But so I'm not saying Tom Brady isn't the GOAT, and I'm not saying he didn't win that Super Bowl due to his own credit. But outside of that, he would have left. He would have been done. He would have been gone. Phillip Rivers is gone, So Russell Wilson isn't as old as them, but his career is. He's past his health and he's past his prime. So I do think it's just another domino in the fall of the older generation. Patrick Mahomes has already grabbed the torch years ago. He's just kind of letting everybody keep up with him for now, I think. But with Jalen Hurts doing what he's doing now, I think it is definitely off to the next batch of QBs in the league.
I agree. There's no way around it. It sucks that we're watching these teams fade away, especially with Peyton gone, Drew Brees gone. Yes, Phillip Rivers and then Ben Roethlisberger. We're watching these players that I was pretty much watching in their prime, and now they're slowly fading away. And I do agree, it's Patrick Mahomes. He is the alpha in this, and he is overall creating the torch. So it's all catching up now. So we need like Josh Allen, and you also get Lamar Jackson. Hopefully, he's someone that's there. Mm-hmm. And then like I said, don't discount Tua. I'm not going to say Tua's at their level, right. But if you get a cast around him, mm-hmm. That'd be great. So that concludes Eddie's Money Sports Thoughts. We're going to dive into the segment that everyone likes, the Mano a Mano. This is brought to you by Center Street by Kim. Let's go ahead. Let's kick it off. Ed, you and Chuck. Ed, I will start this off with you. With the hiring of Jeff Saturday, will the Colts' victory over the Raiders give them confidence perhaps to make a playoff run?
Not necessarily a playoff run, but a sleeper wild card team that could potentially compete, in the first round of the wild card, but nothing more than that. Especially with how poorly the start of their season. And it's kind of a little too late, especially in the AFC, with power teams like KC, the Dolphins, the Bills, the Ravens, and, possibly a sleeper, from the Jets. And then, possibly, it'll probably be between the Browns and the Colts, possibly, getting that seventh, wild card spot. So, not a push, but definitely compete in the first wild card.
So would you say you're talking about this season, or you mean in general for the Colts organization? This
season.
This season, I don't see it being that, and that's because they're in the weakest division in the conference, and they're not close to competing with Tennessee. You're not going to get the wild card because the rest of the top 7 in the conference they're doing really good. They're all really successful. They all have it going for them to be that playoff team. The Bengals are a better team than the Colts, and they're hurt, and they're a better team than the Colts. So I don't see them getting out of the way. I do think it's great for their organization to have a face, to have that come back to them, because Phillip Rivers didn't do it for them. Matt Ryan isn't the guy, and you're going to see a generational talent in Jonathan Taylor get wasted if they don't turn that program around, if he doesn't trade just to another team. But so it's great for the organization for them to have that. But as far as a playoff push, I really don't see that, no.
Yeah, I mean, he gave out, great takes. I forgot to mention, the Bengals. So, I mean, it'll probably be between the Browns and the Colts fighting for that wild card spot. But probably, the Browns with possibly Deshaun Watson coming in, late in the season. And maybe if Jacoby Brissett could probably slip in, one more, win in their, win column. It could potentially, help Deshaun Watson. But even then, I feel like that chemistry, bringing in Deshaun Watson so late in the season, yeah, he could be, studying, from, week 1 to 12, the playbook. But, I mean, that, studying the playbook and, being able to, to play with your team on the field, is two different things. So, I mean, and then the Browns are known to sometimes, let, a playoff burst slip away late in the season. So, I mean, we'll see what the Colts could possibly do. So, I mean, we can see if, Matty Ice could, possibly, show, slight flashbacks, late in the season to get, that last wild card spot. But, I mean, it'll just come down to, who plays, better football late in the season. So.
All right, sounds good, Ed. Well, I mean, Chuck pretty much elaborated everything you said, so I'm going to give it to Chuck. Did all that talk. All right, next up we have Driston going against Don. Don, I'm going to start this off with you. With the recent victory Minnesota had over Buffalo, should we perhaps say Minnesota is a favorite in the NFC Conference?
I believe so, because they all have the weapons and the firepower on both sides of the ball. The only competition right now is Philly, but between them two, based on their schedules, I do believe Minnesota is going to be the favorite to have the 1 seed, to give them that bye week to stay healthy, to get ready to go to the next round of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Definitely they are the top seed in the NFC. And another reason why is because the rest of the season, their schedule for the rest of the season is super easy, man. I mean, because at the end they got the Lions, they got the Colts, they got the Giants, which is a little tougher, Packers, Bears. They're all teams that are, hit or miss. And so they're definitely going to stay at the top of that 1 seed. I think, and I don't think the Eagles, they have a chance, but I think the Eagles, they got too many divisional games that are going to be close. And I don't see how Minnesota can give up that 1 seed going this late into the season. Yeah, they're a powerhouse right now, man. They look really good, especially with Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. And their defense is underrated. They've been playing great defense as well. And especially beating Buffalo, that's a Super Bowl contender. And I think if you beat Buffalo, you're that team. You're a good team.
Yeah, because see, with the additions of Hawkinson with Minnesota, they're just moving the ball real well. And unless they end up with a tied, record by the end of the season, which would give Philly the favor, I just see Philly losing a couple more games not to allow them to get that number 1 seed, and therefore Minnesota's just going to remain the top seed in there.
Yeah, I mean, you both got some good valid points. I mean, especially Minnesota already has played against Philly, and they lost, but it was a primetime game. And so maybe this is a team that's different, and especially adding Hawkinson as well. I do agree. That has made Minnesota that much more dangerous. All right, so Driston, good one on that one. I'll give you that one. So I'm going to bring this back over to you, Don. Don, question is, with the Broncos' recent struggles and minor success, should the Broncos ownership perhaps reconsider about restructuring Russell Wilson's contract?
I believe so, because that's only you have to restructure it to bring talent to surround around him, because right now they're suffering a lot of injuries, and he really hasn't looked like the Russell Wilson that played in Seattle, winning the Super Bowls or making the Super Bowls, because he just looks lost out there. So if they can find some way to restructure that deal, so they can get some talent to bring around him to, build up the organization, I just don't see it happening if they don't.
Wait, can you repeat the question?
The question is with the Broncos' recent struggles and minor success, should Broncos ownership perhaps reconsider about restructuring Russell Wilson's contract?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little difficult just by, how much, the contract was. And especially, they basically, dropped a couple picks, right? And, for a major contract, they've had a very high ceiling for Russell Wilson, to turn that franchise around. But, it seems like, that didn't happen. He couldn't connect how the front office wanted, with, the offensive side of the ball along with the coaches. So, it's going to be pretty difficult to be able to reconstruct that contract. I think it's, they're right now like in a sinkhole right now. They're stuck, and it's going to be pretty difficult to get out of it. But, it's, I'm no league owner, so, it could possibly happen, but I don't see it happening.
Well, see, I don't know. I've never really heard of a player restructuring their deals with ownership, because usually once ownership does give them that money, I've never seen, structures be restructured so that way they can bring talent around. Usually only do it right around contract time, but once those deals have been signed, I haven't seen one get restructured yet, but it would be advantageous for them to do that, to get talent around them. But, the question is it too little too late, because they don't have any draft picks this next coming draft in the first 2 or 3 rounds to, to help bring in talent. So they're going to have to restructure unless they're going to be in a sinkhole for the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and then it's kind of rough, as a Bronco fan, because basically going all out for this, a one-time Super Bowl champion in Russell Wilson, but it just seems like after him, doing, the Broncos country, that's why, just have it become, a joke, like in the locker room. Players, stop, lost the respect for them. He lost the respect for the locker room, and just, the stuff that he's doing, to get attention, on him. And then on top of that, how you mentioned with the contract, it's $233 million fully guaranteed. So, I don't see how they can restructure that. So, but great takes by Don.
Breaking news: Broncos ownership had to sell another Walmart to cover Russell Wilson's contract. I'm joking, Chuck. Chuck, he says I got to go to Walmart after the show.
How much did you get for Walmart, huh?
Yep. So I'll go and give this to you, Don. So good job, Don. You advance into the playoffs here. All right. We got Dristin and Chuck here. These are, by the way, champions so far. Chuck is making a return back, so let's see if he can capitalize on this. All right, I'll start this off with Dristin. Dristin, Raiders in game losses and yet having the lead. Does the Raiders need to reconsider coaching change or perhaps follow owner's advice to allow the process to continue developing?
Coaching change. I feel like Josh McDaniels isn't a very good quarterback. I think we saw that in Denver. And now we're seeing it over in Ireland. And you have the weapons, man. It's not like you don't have a bad team. You have the weapons to win, and yet you only have 2 wins on the season. So I don't really think necessarily it's the players. I feel like when it boils down to all the superstars you have offensively and the superstars you have defensively, it's like, is it really the players or is it the coach calling the plays and making all the moves? So I think it's the coach, and I think they need to reconsider who they got calling all those shots.
Yeah, it is the coach. I would say the story behind why the coach is not successful, and that is because, well, a lot of New England predecessors were not successful outside of New England. Josh McDaniels kind of proved that he couldn't win without cheating. Immediately after he got caught and fired, I don't know how many wins he's got as a coach after that with Denver, but it's not a winning record. And the Raiders seem to just pick really good characters to fill the roles of head coach, apparently, because they have just a good take on that, integrity factor of how those guys are outside of the locker room. But I don't think it should take away from the fact that Derek Carr's not the guy, because regardless of who your coach is, if you got Devontae Adams, you probably should have at least 1 or 2 more wins than what you got right now. But as far as the coach himself, they do need to make a coaching change. They probably shouldn't have went with him in the first place. I think they just went with his resume, but not actually what he's put up as results of being a head coach. So,
I mean, I got nothing else to say. I agree with everything you said, man. I mean, Devontae Adams hasn't been bad, and I feel like Derek Carr's been giving the ball pretty well. But, I mean, can't really let one guy decide if you have a bunch of wins or losses. Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think it boils down to McDaniels.
Sounds good. Yep, Chuck, you did it, my friend.
killing
You
it.
did it.
well, if I can add, I
please,
want
go
a
ahead.
caveat to that
Oh,
question. Who's a bigger factor to the Raiders' success? McDaniels leaving or passing the torch on and getting away from Derek Carr? I'm curious what Tristan's
I
take
want
is
to
on
hear.
that.
Well,
First.
hold that thought.
Yeah.
Don, you're the Raiders fan. That's a great question. What would you? I mean, you're the Raiders fan. Talk to us.
I don't think we need to get away from Derek Carr like a lot of other fans have been frustrated with, because he has not had a consistent coach in the last 6 years. You got to have some kind of consistency, because I don't care how good you are. If you don't have a consistent coach and offensive coordinator, to back you up, this is going to be the result.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can just get some kind of consistency, Derek Carr can go places. Just right now, Mark Davis already came out and said that he's going to stay behind the process. So I have to just sit back and only hope that it's going to change at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Don. Because whenever I think of Derek Carr, I don't really think of him as a bad quarterback. Now, he's definitely not the best, but I don't think he's that bad. And he has struggled keeping the same receivers, healthy and all together. He hasn't had like a very consistent receiving core either, so I feel like that's really hindered him. But I feel like it would be the coach. That would be my answer. I feel like if you change the coach, maybe you have more success. If not, then yeah. I mean, like, after so many years, yeah, you have a lot of coaches, but still, you got to ask the player, hey, what are you doing?
If I could just interject, definitely, if it was me, if I was the owner right now of the Raiders, I'd let go of Josh McDaniels because of what you said, Chuck. Why not hire your offensive coordinator, the Chiefs? He's familiar with the system.
Oh, yeah.
He's respected in the locker room. That would help Derek Carr kind of see the game prospectively different. I mean, yes, I'm glad that he got Devontae Adams because he's throwing the ball out there. He's doing it. But the problem is it's not just the offense. The defense isn't. They need more help. Max Crosby's doing the best that he can. I mean, the guy's playing with heart. But it's just they need more help. They need to get in, get some leadership, also start getting young again. And I mean, imagine if Khalil Mack and Crosby, if they would have, that would have been a nightmare. So
Let's see, by the time we get some consistency, Derek Carr will be about the end of his career, unfortunately.
Yep.
Because the Raiders defense is ranked almost dead last these last 6-7 seasons.
and continue to suck, just like my team. So, all right, we'll give this one over to Chuck. All right, so we're in the knockout round here. So, Don, if you want to make it, got to make this happen here. All right. I'm going to start this off with you, Tristan. Will the Chargers this year be a wild card contender?
I think they have a chance of making wild card, but are they going to? I think they're a contender too, right? But I don't think they will. I don't think they'll make a wild card, and that's simply because the AFC East is too good of a division. As it stands right now, every single team in that division is making the playoffs. All of them, all four teams. And if they keep it up, if they keep, winning games and the Chargers keep losing these critical games, then no, the Chargers are not going to make the wild card this season.
It's based on how well New England fares out the rest of the season. They have a great defense, but I don't know if Mac Jones' offense can really kind of carry them to keep them winning enough. And I think with the Chargers, if they can stay healthy, they're definitely a playoff team, because right now, you get that wild card spot. They're still second in the division with the AFC West. So provided with all the other divisional winners, that leaves you 3 wild card spots. It's hard to say between Miami and Buffalo who's going to win that division. So right now, it flips here and there. The Jets, I'm not totally sold on them yet. I got to see another 3 or 4 games to see where they land at right now as far as that division goes. And like I said, with New England, I don't think they have enough offense that's going to carry them, late in the season, to get that wild card spot. So more than likely, I do believe the Chargers, provided that they stay healthy, will make the playoffs.
I'm still going to stick with no, and that's because the Miami And Buffalo, they're making the playoffs. Definitely, one of them's gonna clinch because of the division. One's gonna be a wild card. That leaves 2 spots open. You still got Cincinnati. I think they're a better team than the Chargers, man. You still got. I mean, I feel like that's all you're gonna say. You got Cincinnati, and I feel like the Jets are not gonna make it, but I feel like you'll still have. I think you'll have at least 3 teams from the AFC East make it. So whether that be the Jets or the Patriots, but I think how it stands, I still see at least 3 of those teams making it, and Cincinnati can clinch that. I have Cincinnati clinching that over the Chargers. All
right, Chuck, who you think won this debate?
I think Driston is right, but I do. Looking at their schedules, I think the Chargers have the best chance to, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think Driston's right. I don't think they're going to pull it off. I think the teams ahead of them are just better teams, and the Chargers are not going to fulfill that. But yeah,
Ed.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with Driston since Don, did choose against my Cowboys, so I'm gonna have to choose against it. But it was a good take. Good take.
Eric.
I'm gonna have to give it to Driston.
All right. I don't like you, Driston, so I like Don. But I gotta go off of facts. I mean, Driston, the key thing that you sold me on is, especially with the AFC East, when you said about the record itself, Miami and Buffalo. How are we forgetting them? They're above 500, and right now the Chargers are above 500, but they're just sliding down.
Yeah.
And the thing is that's not good. I mean, that's not good, and especially if they're going to get bit. They're getting bit by the injury bug, and they keep losing. Who's next? I mean, who's next? I mean, we don't want Justin Herbert to go out, because you saw when he goes out that Chase Daniels ain't gonna do anything.
Doesn't Herbert still have playing with broken ribs or fractured ribs right now?
I thought he's still a little injured. I mean, if he takes another nasty hit like he did that Sunday night game against the Niners, I mean, he'll be out. All right, Driston, you are going to the finals. You will await the winner here of Chuck and Ed here. So I'm gonna start this off with Ed. What chances will the Giants create, or will they be a division winner, a wild card? Where do you got the Giants at?
Yeah, I think they'll come out as a quote-unquote second wild card team coming out of the NFC East, just because how weak, the West, the North and the South are looking. Because, I mean, in the other, divisions, I mean, you got Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and then you got between, Seattle, Rams, and 49ers. So, yeah, I mean, they'll definitely, get a wild card berth. They probably could possibly end up sneaking in, probably playing probably difficult, first wild card round game. So, they'll probably, bounce out. So, I mean, they have the team, to make noise, but I just don't see them, making that extra push that, the Cowboys and the Eagles are going to, go for, towards the end of the season. So, yep, that's my take.
Yeah, they're definitely a wild card team. You're not going to pass the Eagles for the division, so you can basically, just put all your eggs in that bucket of just hoping that you get a decent wild card matchup. But the wild card matchups are either going to be the Cowboys or more than likely the Niners. I think is how it's going to come out. So you need to come out of a tough division and be proud that you were. 2 years ago, they rode that Daniel Jones train and said, all right, we're back. We're going to be that contending team. And no way did they expect the Eagles to be the ones coming out of it right now, but they are who they are. So just be happy you can get the wild card and stick with that win record to get you in a higher seed, in a better situation. But your question was whether they're a divisional winner or a wild card, and I don't think they're going to take the division for sure.
Because how many losses do they have currently in the season? 2. Wow, yeah, that's kind of damn. Actually, after looking back at the losses, I mean, they could potentially fight for a division. But I mean, it'll come down to the Thanksgiving matchup against the Cowboys. If they lose that game, I mean, their hopes are kind of over. And I mean, it'll just come down to the Cowboys, the Eagles. So I mean, the Eagles. I mean, the one game I think, they have a probability of losing would be against the Packers, but I mean that's a what if. If Aaron Rodgers, is able to play, a great game like how he did against the Cowboys, but the second half, not the first half. So, I mean, you get a 1-loss Eagles, 2-loss Giants, and then you got a 3-loss, Dallas team. So it's just, they're like, neck to neck. But yeah, if New York loses this week to the Dallas Cowboys, it's kind of over for them, and they'll be fighting for a wild card spot. So
yeah, looking at the rest of their schedule, the Eagles have shown to be the better team. The Giants have just proven themselves to be a decent team, but the Eagles have shown and proven that they are the team of the division. They have the Giants twice remaining in the rest of the season. So if the Giants don't win those games, then they don't have a chance because there's 2 games gone right there. And then Philly's rest of their schedule is the Saints, the Bears, and the Titans. They got the Packers, might be tough, but yeah, the Philly's not going to lose out enough games to lose that divisional hold. So,
all right, Don, who are you taking on this debate?
Chuck.
hey,
Because Philly's just too strong of a team to give up the division lead right now. So.
Eric?
I'm going to go with Ed.
Hey, first time I get big.
Tristan?
I'm gonna go with Chuck. I like that he bring out the rest of the season, the rest of the schedule for the rest of the season for the Eagles, man.
Dang, can I take it back and choose Don?
I still got majority rule on that one.
No. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll take it up to Chuck here. Yeah, Chuck, just elaborate on it. Great way. Yeah, great way to just go ahead and elaborate on the schedule. But I do have to concur a little bit with you, Ed. You got to understand that the Giants hold their own destiny here, and the thing is if they can just capitalize on win, don't focus so much. Now here, let me give you a little history here. Do you know the Giants in their both Super Bowls, they never hosted a playoff? They were on the road. Both of their Super Bowls, they were the wild card. So I mean,
I get that, but I mean, you gotta beat Tom Brady in January. You gotta beat a firepower
the
Eagle
Giants,
team.
the Eli Manning spirit is there. Anyways, so all right. Well, this is interesting. 2 champions are gonna face off. All right, you guys will also in the drawing put your name and your favorite team. This time around, we are giving away another gift certificate to Superstar Sports at either Town East, Town West, in the Wichita Mall. If you are an out-of-towner, you will get a gift certificate to fanatics.com, and you can choose whatever. If you buy me something, that'd be great. I'm just asking. All right, we'll start this off with you, Tristan. Tristan, how many wins do you have in mano a mano? 1.
Just 1.
Yes, 1.
I had to think about it. I didn't know if it was like 5 or
1.
It feels like all of them.
And Chuck, it's been a while. You only have 1 as well. All right, so here it goes. All right, let's fight here. All right, verbally, not physically. All right, I'll start this off with you, Tristan. What are the chances that the surging Miami Dolphins will make a run to the AFC East divisional title, or perhaps further? Where do you have them at?
Chances over 50%, I say, because the only team that poses a threat to them in the division is the Bills, and they've already beat the Bills once. If they can beat the Bills again, I think they pretty much got that division secured. Now going past, I think they have a chance of even making it possibly to the AFC Championship. Maybe they'll get beat in the division round. Who knows? But thing is, that's a tough division, and right now it is very close. But the Bills are the ones to beat in that division, and they've done that once already. So, like I said, if they just do that one more time, I feel like they pretty much got that division in the bag.
I would say with I feel like the Bills have more woes against them right now, but they're a better team because they've played longer together. I think Josh Allen he's going to win the seasoned quarterback, the knowledge, the playing under pressure. If you put them up against each other in the last game of the season to see who's going to win the division, the Bills are going to take it. Schedule has a factor. A lot of things have a factor. I do think Miami has a very solid, healthy roster, but I don't just give it definitively because I just think the Bills are a better team going what they have the last couple of years to going forward. As far as taking that division, I just think that Miami's wins are against lesser better teams, so their record shows better, but it doesn't show what it really will be by the end of the season. And I think that's going to be the factor in going there. I just think the Bills are going to take it based off of they can win big games. And, at the end of the day, just be proud your division's the best in the AFC, because when you go against the Chiefs, and whether it's the AFC title game or you get the wild card between the Bills or Miami, you're not going to beat the Chiefs. And then I really don't think Kansas City is not going to host that playoff game either. So just take the win of getting your divisional, champion ballot out of the way, and just have that be the cast of your season.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Miami will play Kansas City here pretty soon. If I'm not mistaken, they do play each other this year.
No, you're mistaken.
I am.
I think so. Let
Okay,
me check.
well,
I don't think they play.
Okay, if they do play, Driston, you lost.
No, they don't play.
They don't play?
But, I'll say this. So Driston's point to they already beat the Bills. They beat them in Miami, and they barely beat them. I don't think that happens in the next game. So that may be your divisional tiebreaker going into the end of the season right there. I think the Bills will take the next game.
Okay. I am going to give it to Miami, taking that game, simply because Josh Allen has been dealing with that little shoulder injury. I don't know if that's been hindering him or not, but we have seen him choke a couple times already this season in the fourth quarter, man.
But has Tua not also gone out due to an injury?
Well, he's gone out due to injury, but he hasn't choked in the fourth quarter like Josh Allen has.
That's fair.
I don't know. I feel like in the really close games, Josh Allen has not been clutch. He hasn't been that clutch player that, we thought he should be. He's made some silly mistakes that have really cost him the game at that last second, that last minute. And that really hurt. So I think it's going to be a close game. Yeah, it's in Buffalo, so Miami has to adjust to that. But I think they got a good enough squad this season to sweep them this season. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are just two dominant, crazy players. I think Tyreek Hill's on pace to get 2,000 receiving yards this season. That's really all they need offensively. And
I think both of them are on pace to get 2,000 receiving
which
yards.
Which is crazy, yeah, because right now they're both in the top 5 for receiving yards. It's just insane what they've done there in the passing game. And, picking up Jeff Wilson really helps that running game as well with already. So I'm just going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with that. Miami will sweep the Bills. They'll get that divisional win. And depending on how the seeding plays out, I think they could possibly make it to the AFC Championship, but more than likely, in my opinion, they're probably going to win the first round and get knocked out in the divisional.
All right, here it is. The moment of truth. Who's going to win this? I'm going to start this off with Eric. Who are you going to give the win to?
I got to give it to Driston.
Don.
They both made valid points. The tipping scale went slightly in favor of Driston.
Ed.
Yeah, even though he picked against me for the second time in a row, I'm going to have to, great takes, from both, but I'm going to have to give the edge to Driston.
All right.
I'll say, obviously I lost, but if the Bills beat Miami, then I get it back.
Okay. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, after surveying the situation here, Chuck, your team won the World Series.
Yeah, they did.
They did. So you won, Chuck. Oh. Congratulations, man. That was the factor there. I like pro winning. And then just tired of Driston picking on me. So, Chuck, any final shout-outs?
Well, I'll tell you what, Driston. If Miami beats him, I'll give it back to you.
Okay.
One more policy. We don't take.
No take C back.
Oh, winner's going to win, I guess. So. Actually, today I saw something, college football. They had some players that had a pretty big tragedy for one of the colleges. So I want to give a shout out to those family and friends of those players that were affected by that. So.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to Carlos again. And then tomorrow, it's the last race of the Formula One season. And, if the Mexican driver, Perez, is able to finish above Charles Leclerc, he'll be end up getting, the runner-up. So, hopefully, he can seal the deal tomorrow morning. And, thank you again.
I want to give a shout out to my Sooners. Right now, they are winning 28-0 against Oklahoma State, and it's barely the second quarter. So, if we can beat Oklahoma State, I'll be a very happy Sooner.
And you wonder why you lost.
I just want to give a shout out to Carlos for bringing me back here on the show and hanging out here with the fellas. and all the fans that out here listen to us. Appreciate it.
First of all, I want to send out my condolences as well. This has been a tough week, especially in sports and personal. One good friend of mine, he lost his sister, and I just want him to know that here at Sportsfellas, our thoughts and prayers go out to you and your family. And also, I want to thank Eric. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, pal. Thank you, Dalen, for making it happen. I mean, we have taken a new stride forward, and I'm just thankful for new viewers and audience coming out. And also want to thank you guys. Dristan, I'm going to put it out there. Just put it out there. Dristan's a great guy behind the scenes. I pick on him, but I'll tell you this, you guys. I'm very blessed and fortunate that I'm able to have someone like we can talk sports, and the guy's got a great heart, and so I appreciate you, Dristan. Chuck,
Thank you.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you, Chuck, for coming out, and congratulations. I mean, I've been picking on him for so long, and now he's got a ring, so another one. So you know what? I look forward to maybe one day we can go to an Astro games, go out there, go see what they're doing. And also, Don, as always, thank you, man. I mean, me talking just gave me the Derek Carr moment. Just makes me want to cry. But the Don's used to that. All right. Don's used to that. And Ed, as always, hey, not trying to put your business out there, but hey, he's going on a date. Just throwing it out there. Throwing it out there. So if, for any reason you need tips or stuff like that, go talk to Ed. He's got his little coffee shop hour. Just talk to him a little bit. Nice. But no, thank you guys overall for doing it, for giving us the time to get away from the world and being able to dive into sports. Looking forward to your show. Enjoy your guys' holidays, and we look forward to the next episode. We're out.